Hi, and welcome to the Jayco Precept 36A. Right now the slide outs are out, and as you can see, there are no jacks down. The jacks really aren't needed when you are on level ground. I imagine unless, you had 48 people trying to climb out on that edge. So, but really, when you have level ground, the jacks aren't necessarily needed. And currently, the rear jack in the right has lost its pad. If you look over there, we got a pad on this side, but not on the other side. In one of these cabinets, there is something to put under it if you end up putting the jack out. The seat is just behind this wheel. So when you're driving, you really don't have a lot of things in front of you. So it allows you to turn very late in your turn so that you can get a good access point, so that the wheels don't hit the curb. So it's really good. When you see these locks, do you see they're up, down, perpendicular? That is a locked cabinet, and that's how you should travel. Right now we got a locked cabinet, so we're going to look at the front. On both sides in the front, when it's parallel to the bottom, it's open. So in both sides in the front, there are some chocks for the front wheels if you need them on both sides. Same wheel chocks on both sides. Second cabinet houses the generator. This is on the driver's side. You shouldn't need to deal with this cabinet at all, but there is a on-off switch in there in case the other ones don't work, which that hasn't happened. This is where you access the oil, etc. Next two cabinets are pass-throughs. On the other side, there is a cooler and some toilet paper. On this side, there's some boards in case you need to put that jack plate down. The next cabinet is also a pass-through cabinet. On this side, there is the carpet that you lay out on the other side of the RV for your picnic area. And within there, you will see there are a bunch of Coleman chairs that you can use. Main parts we really need to talk about is hooking up to the septic. There is a rear black tank and a gray water tank that is from the back bathroom, which is inside the shower in the back bath. This is where we house the tubes. You'll take those septic tubes, see that Y in there. That Y would go directly to your pump out when you get to the camp. Just remember, if we're standing right here, the pump out, just bring it really close, just past this back wheel, and just bring it around here typically. So just bring that really close. That's going to be your sewer outlet at your campground, your water and all the things like that, your electric. In the front, this is for the sink, the front, front kitchen plus the mid bathroom, both a gray and a black water tank. What you'll want to do is hook them up. One hose goes to that one and one hose goes to that one, and they connect in the center with a Y. When you hook up to water, you'll want to run the water, or the hose, right through that hole. You got a quick connect right here that pops up in here. When you go to flush out the tanks, this unplugs here, plugs into here. It starts pushing water into the septic tanks, and this is the front to back switch. When you drain the black water tanks, you will want to drain them completely and then close them and put about 5 gallons of water back in, which is about 45 seconds to a minute of water in each one. Power cord goes right through the back. That's a 50 amp circuit. This is an extension cord. You typically won't need that. Inside here, you'll want to put this in first. Put that into the campsite. This is a surge protector. The water is full inside the tank. Internal tank is full. So when you're dry camping and driving, you'll want it in this configuration right here. When you go to fill it, you'll go like this. So if you ever need to fill it again, you'll put it like this. And when you're on city water, if you look at this, this is city water. So when you plug this hose into your campsite, you want it in this configuration. You don't do these two, just these two. This is when you're driving. This is when you plug into city, and then this is how to fill it. Notice your gas tank, unleaded only, is only about 3.5 feet from the rear. So just pull really far past the pump. Just remember, it's farther than between the middle, between the tire and the rear, just so that you can get an idea, because you can't see it in your rear view mirrors. This is a storage cabinet. It's empty. Shouldn't have any issues with oil, but this is where you access everything for the motor. Right now the step is out. If I shut this door, the step is staying out. The reason that is because there's a button right here, and you'll want to use that while you're camping, but you want to leave it on while you're driving. So when you're camping, you don't want this thing going out in and out every time you open the door. So make sure you turn the power step off, which is right inside the door, right in here. And then this is your main power. Make sure that this is on at all times when you're using it, if you want to use any of the electronics inside the vehicle right now. And the bunk is down, the slide outs are out, and right now it's only on battery power. So we turned on the power right by the front entry, and we're going to go walk back here to the panel. We will look at the panel here. We want to start the generator. The panel is right here, and I want to start the generator. We're on battery right now, so I just hold this till we start it. Okay, when you're looking at this, and you are on generator power. So when you're driving this unit, you'll want the front AC on, which is just your cab AC, but it will not cool or heat this unit. So when the generator's on, there's only enough power to either run one furnace or one air conditioner or one heat pump while you're driving. When you're not plugged into 50 amp service, only can run one of these. So right now, the rear one is on. In order to change it, you would turn it off, change it like this. If you wanted just regular heat, you'd put this on, or if you wanted the furnace, which also uses propane, you'll want this on. When you're ready to use the water, got to turn the water pump on, otherwise no water will work. Also, if you want to heat up the water, do not touch tank heaters. That's not what this is for. It's the water heater, and it turns on the gas, which then inside here is the temperature gauge. So you adjust it by in here, okay? Currently, you can look at the tanks, and honestly, these have all been cleared out, but sensors just get messed up. If you look, we will need liquid petroleum gas, which is propane. You'll need to get that at your first stop. Right here is how we bring all of the panels in when we bring the slide outs. Sorry. You need to lock that one and lock this one, which is inside here. Otherwise, when you brake, everything will move and break. When you are done, please empty the tank. And you'll notice that there is a little bit left of stuff in there for the septic. Just split half of it in this one and half of it in the other after you've put about 5 gallons of water back in the tank. You can either do that by that hose outside like I told you, flush out, or you can run this till you know that you got 5 gallons in. You can run this till you know that you got 5 gallons in. You're about ready to move in or move out the slide outs. Make sure that all of these areas are clear. Nobody is stepping on them. Make sure that they're clear. If not, you could damage the vehicle. This area is clear. No one is sitting on here at any time when operating any of this, so that no one gets hurt and no damage happens. Make sure this area is clear. To operate the stove, it's pretty simple. You would just turn one of these on, click that, turn it on. This one's not so simple. The stove itself, or the oven itself, turn it on, and then you hold this probably about a minute. You gotta hold it for at least a minute. It honestly takes so long, but once it starts going, it works great. TVs and TV remotes everywhere. Behind this one is a DVD player, and back here, got some operation of this bunk bed, the overhead bed. Now, you need to, this one can be on, but that one up, that goes and gets put up there, but you cannot raise it with that up there. You have to have it down. We use that ladder up here to get up, and there is also a table and a pedestal that goes right there, and sometimes we have that stored underneath here. Okay, so we're going to watch how this operates. You can typically keep pillows on there, but if we're going to put it up, this is the up button. This turns it off so it doesn't work. Leave the key inside at all times, not lose the key. This is only a light, and if you notice, it only works when it's all the way down. So this light only works when it's down. Gonna raise this up. Gonna raise this up for travel. You can see that we're getting close here to a seatbelt. So once this is all the way up, it'll stop, and then you will want to put a seatbelt. That way it doesn't get to move on its own, and now it is disabled. When this slide out is in, you will not be able to access these controls. Front. In order to move this seat back and forth, there is a bar that broke down here, and you can use a lever to access it. Right now it is moved fairly far up, so if you want to move it back, you'll just have to use a lever, and I'll show you that in a minute. This is a Ford. Regular ignition, key start, gas powered, starts normally. Here are all your controls. This is in case you're having trouble starting it, you can boost the battery. That hasn't happened. There's some fog lights. I like to use these when we're running. And this is a generator on and off. If I turn it off, it shuts off, okay? So if you are cold, the primary method, if you are cold, like the air is cold and the generator is cold, the primary method to start this generator is hold this down for about 30 seconds, and then hold this. You'll hear the generator start. And once that's on solid, it is on. Okay, this is where the stabilizers are, or the jacks. And as I said, the jack outside on the back is broke. So if you are on level ground, I would not even operate the system. You'll be fine. If you are on quite unlevel ground, then you'll want to put one of those boards out for that right rear jack to make sure that the post is not, the jack post isn't going right into the dirt. So we touch the power. Got to make sure, you'll see that there's a parking brake release and a parking brake right here. Make sure the parking brake is on. before you drive, make sure you release the parking brake. Once that's on, you push auto level and it automatically puts all the jacks out. When you're done, all retract. Pull the parking brake before you drive. In regards to putting everything out and pulling everything back, make sure you do a walk around of the unit so that it's not going to hit anything. All right, from the cab, make sure that we got everything clear. We're going to go ahead and pull in all the slide outs. This should not be hanging, so I typically store this right up on one of the beds. All right, turn this on. This is how you do the master. Whatever you turned on before turns on again. Sorry, whatever you turned on before turns on the master, okay? So guys, put the lights however you want today. Okay, now this is for the awning. Awning is in. Make sure that the awning is clear, and when you're pulling the awning in, make sure your door, front door, is closed, otherwise you can cause damage. Okay, it's coming in. Pushing the extend button. Coming in, we were clear. Just bring it on in until it does exactly that and just stops. Gonna turn on the light in the back. Okay. Same thing here. Gonna push retract. Okay, we did our walk around. Everything's moving in. Everything's locked up. Ready to drive. Just pull this back in until it's fully closed, or fully pulled back in, fully retracted. All right, now I saved this one for last because it doesn't leave us a lot of room to get out. So we're going to retract this. Make sure again everything's clear. Just pulling it in. There we go. Now, to note, this is hanging off of the ceiling a little bit, so just be careful with this door. It needs to go back into Jayco for replacement. You can see there's a little bit of tight space. Everything's retracted. If you put down the jacks, then you would pull them back up at this time. However, again, don't forget that the jack has a bad jack in the right. They will go down. If you really need them, put out the boards. If it's very level, feels great, you don't need to worry about it. If you do have high winds, I would definitely put the jacks down.